Hello everybody, welcome back to Simple Art for Adults. My name is Erin and today we're going to be taking a look at this brand new set of colored pencils. It was sent to me by the manufacturer for the purpose of review. Even though these were sent to me to review, you guys are going to be getting my 100% honest opinion of these, so you will know whether or not you should spend your money on them. So let's go ahead and dive right in and take a look. This is the Bayland Supply Company Premier Luxe Series Artist Grade Colored Pencils. It says they are 48 premium colored pencils with a soft, thick core and high density pigment on the box. So on Amazon, these cost $19.99 for the box of 48. That is the largest set they make. This is the color swatch sheet that represents all 48 colors that come in the box. The two down here at the bottom are their metallics. As far as I can tell, I couldn't get much of a metallic effect really from them. It is there a little bit, but I couldn't get it to show a whole lot more than that. Based on looking at the color swatches, you can see you're going to get a pretty big variety. You get 3 different yellows, then you're going to get some kind of like skin tones going on here. You get quite a good range of pinks. Whether or not this is true red, we're going to check with my color wheel shortly, and then of course a couple of different oranges here. It does lack brown, like true real brown. From what I can tell would be the one thing that I would really want to change about this. And I would like to see some more greens, and the blues that are in here, some of them look incredibly similar, and I think that these could have been a little bit different from each other. Also the purples that we get up here, these two look pretty similar. Keep in mind that I did do this on a really toothy paper, so we can really see the pigment colors pop. So those would be, as far as the colors that come in the set, those would be my primary gripes about it. The good thing about these colors is that, like it says on the box, they do go down easily. They are nice and pigmented. I have no problem with that. The cores aren't as soft as most. When you buy a soft core pencil, you're used to having a core that's actually soft. These are quite a bit harder than most other manufacturers of soft core pencils would make, but that's not a problem. There are situations when you want a nice hardcore pencil, and these aren't going to be like as hard as, say, a Crayola by any means, but they aren't as soft as others either. My two favorite colors in this set are 37 and 28. There's 28. These two colors I really enjoy a lot, and I will probably incorporate them into some other sets. Alright, so taking a look at the pencils themselves, they come in a box package like this, and when the box is closed, it looks just like that. So to open them, you pull on the handle, and the whole thing slides out like a drawer. So then you have this, we can set this aside, and all of your pencils just kind of lie in here. They are a pretty blue color with the Bayland Premier Luxe logo written on them. Again, there is no color name or number written on the pencil, so what I've done is just taken a black Bic market and written the numbers on there to coincide with my swatches that I made. So this way, at least I know when I need a color, I can look and tell which one I want to grab. They feel that they are a lightweight pencil, which indicates the wood itself is lightweight. I'm not sure about the actual diameter of the core. I'm gonna say maybe 3 millimeters, something like that. They're not an extremely thick pencil, but they're not thin either. So far, what I've used of them, and I have used them quite a bit to color, a few things here and there, they seem to be pretty decent quality, so I won't complain too much about that. Today during our review, what we're going to do is put them to the test, all the things that we as colorists look for when we buy colored pencils. So we are going to look into how they layer, how they blend, how they erase, how opaque the white colored pencil is, and how black the black colored pencil is. And then if we need to figure anything else out, we've got an area over here to do so. So as far as layering goes, what I want to do is I want to mix a red and a yellow. So we're going to do 13 and 4, and we're going to see whether or not we can get ourselves a good orange. Let me see if I can find 13. If not, we'll go with 14. There's 13. Okay. Let me just set these aside. Oh, my paper's blowing away. We'll zoom you in just a little bit, and I'll just color on this little circle, and we'll see if we get a pretty orange. Now when it comes to trying to create a color, your goal should be to use very light layers, one right over the top of the other. And again, when I do things like this, I'm not trying to make a masterpiece by any means. I'm just trying to layer the colors on top of each other very, very lightly so they mix together and hopefully provide us with our new color. These pencils are very nice to use. The pigment does go down quite nicely. I'm using a vellum surface paper, which makes it really easy to get the pigment down. For those of you who don't like white space left behind, that might be problematic. The vellum surface is quite toothy, so you will need to work a little harder to get that white space to disappear. It is my preferred paper for most colored pencil. Prismacolor may be an exception to that rule, but for pencils like these, I think it works very nicely. And as you can see, I'm just going back and forth and back and forth. When we do the light layers this way, it mixes the colors together better and gives us a better idea of how well they're going to layer. And as you can see on this vellum surface, it's still letting me put layers down. I'm at what now, probably 10 layers? And here comes 11. So just for comparison, here's the yellow. And I'm going to press really hard so you can see what it looks like. And here's the red. And this is the orange that resulted from the two. So that's really not too bad, to be honest. I do have a blender pencil handy. This is the Lyra Splendor blender, so I'm not sure how well it'll work. But we'll try to get rid of some of those white spaces and mix the colors together a little better. Right there in the center. And I'm going to say that that provided us with a pretty good orange, and I did get several layers down. So for layering, if I had to put it on a number scale, I would probably give these pencils about an 8 out of 10 for layering. I got lots of layers down, and I did get a nice orange out of it, so we can't go wrong there. So the next thing I want to do is I want to try to blend these pencils and see how well they'll blend together. I already have my yellow and my red, so what I want to do now is incorporate an orange into the mix. So I am going to look for my number 16 pencil, which is right here. And what I'm going to do is start with my lightest color, which is the yellow, and we're going to put it over here on this side, just like this. And I'm going to take my orange, we're going to come over the yellow very lightly. And then I'm going to take my red and go over the orange. Alright, now it's just a matter of continuing to put more layers down again. And again, I'm not looking for perfection here, guys. I'm just looking to see whether we can create that seamless blend. And because we've already proven that these pencils layer pretty nicely, they should also give us a pretty good blend. So I'm pretty excited about that. No, there's no way I'm going to fill this circle in perfectly, so. I'm just using a little more pressure now, lightening as I get toward the lighter color, heavier pressure with the yellow now. Lightening as I get toward the edge. Oh, wrong color. And then one more time with the red. So by looking at this, you can definitely see in a couple places where the lines of the two colors meet. Now if I go back in and work this out a little better and actually use like the circular technique, the feathering technique, I can make that blend look a little more seamless to where you don't really see those lines. But again, this is a pretty seamless blend that moves from the yellow to the orange to the red. So I would have to also give this, the blending, I'd give a 7 or 8 out of 10 because it does blend pretty smoothly. You can't really see much of a line, at least from my direction. You can see it more on camera than you can here. I can't really see a distinctive line between any of the colors. It just kind of moves seamlessly from one to the other. My next test, what I want to do is see how well these pencils erase. So I'm going to take my orange, I'm going to press hard, and I'm going to lighten my pressure, lighten it up until I get to the very edge. And then we're going to take my trusty, if I can dig it out, my trusty electric eraser from Ohuhu, and I'm just going to turn it on. It erases pretty well. So most of the pencil actually did erase. Even where I went heavy with it, most of it is pretty well gone. So these pencils do erase quite nicely. Alright, white opacity. And basically we're just going to see how opaque the white is. So this is printed, like I said, on the vellum paper. And I'm going to use the white pencil to just kind of go over the black. You can see the white on top of the black, but it turns out more gray than white. So we'll give the white opacity, I don't know, a 5 or 6 out of 10. And that is to be expected when you have a budget pencil. It takes a lot of pigment and a lot of kind of manipulating the binder to get a white like the Caran d'Ache Luminance white. So at this price point, we can't really expect a whole lot, but it is definitely, it does definitely show up on the dark paper, which is more than other brands would do. Last but most certainly not least, we want to check the black value. And my black, I think I have listed as number 46, which is this one. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press as hard as I can. And we're going to leave the black right in the center of the circle. And brush away the extra. And then I'm going to take my color wheel. That gives me the scale of 100% black is value 1, and then it goes all the way back into the gray scales. And we're just going to kind of compare it and see how close to black it really, really is. And I may need to fold this paper to do it. Let's just give it a quick fold so I can actually compare it side by side. Actually, in this case, this is one of the very few budget pencils I've seen where the black is actually very, very, very close to a true black. It's much, much, much darker than value 2. It's maybe just the tiniest bit lighter than a true black, but for a budget pencil, this is a pretty good black. So I'm going to give that actually a 9 out of 10 for the black value. So now that you can see how these pencils work, we'll go ahead and discuss the cons and the pros and things that I've noticed. The cons, of course, are that the pencils have no names or numbers on them, so it's going to be up to you to come up with your own unique system for storing them and knowing what you're coloring with. Some of the colors on the chart here that I colored out are quite similar, so our purples are pretty similar. We've got some blues that are pretty similar and some yellows that are pretty similar as well. There's a lack of browns, and there's, I mean, if you're going to ask me, honestly, I think I probably would have sacrificed maybe 1 or 2 of the yellows to add another brown and another green. That's just me, because I know a lot of the things that we color require a lot of greens and browns, and having so few of them can be problematic. The pros. These pencils do have some pretty nice skin tones, whether you're coloring dark skin or light skin. So you have from here to here to here. These can be your light skin tones. This one, this one, this one, you can have like your medium dark skin tones. And then you can add layers of these if you need to be for your even darker skin tones. So the skin tones, I think they've done a really fantastic job with for this set. Another pro of these pencils is they've done a pretty good job of putting colors in triples. So if you're going to do like lights, mediums, and darks, you have a light purple, a medium purple, and a dark purple that you can use. You have a light blue, a medium blue, and a dark blue you can use. You have a light green and a medium green and a dark green, which makes it easier for you to get your gradients and your shading. So that's also a pro. They're good quality pencils. I've sharpened them several times and they don't break on me, which is always a plus. And they have really good pigmentation to them, as you can see here on my chart. The color comes off on the vellum surface anyway, very, very nice and thick, and it doesn't require a whole lot of work to get the color on there. So, so the verdict, is this box of pencils, the Bayland Premier Luxe Series, worth the money? They are $19.99 on Amazon. So do I think that everybody needs to run right out and buy a set of them right now? I like them. When I get to a point where I need to replace them, I very well may do so. And the reason behind that is for books that have like the Create Space paper, or for when you need a nice harder pencil that you can really get down in those tight spots. These will definitely do it for you. They're not going to be as hard as like your Crayola or your Tombow, but they are hard enough that you can really get down in those little areas and those little tiny spaces. So because they're so highly pigmented and because they are so high quality, these may very well turn into like one of my go-to pencils for the Create Space books. So I think it's up to you and what you prefer. If you like a harder feeling pencil that is quite pigmented, that won't make your hands hurt trying to color with it, and that will let you get a lot of layers and you can get some seamless blends, I would say go for it. What I'm going to do is I will put the links to these pencils and the paper that I've used to do my reviews on. All that's going to be down there in the description box below. So if you are interested in getting yourself a set, you certainly can. I think they'd make a great gift. I think the best use for these would be a gift for someone who is brand new to coloring. For $20, you cannot go wrong with these. Alright guys, that's all I've got for you today on the Bayland Premier Luxe Series colored pencil review. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And until I see you guys next time, happy coloring.